Deep in the Pacific Ocean, on a remote island known as Easter Island, a small community was preparing for the annual Easter celebration. The island was famous for its mysterious and massive stone statues, called Moai, which were believed to hold spiritual powers. Among the island's inhabitants was a young woman named Maria, who had recently moved to the island with her husband, Juan, and their 2 children, Sofia and Carlos. Maria was a devout Catholic and was looking forward to the Easter festivities, as it was an important time for her and her family. As Easter approached, Maria began to notice strange occurrences around her home. Objects would mysteriously move or disappear, and she would hear faint whispers in the middle of the night. She tried to brush it off as her imagination, but the feeling of unease persisted. One evening, Maria was alone at home, preparing for the upcoming Easter Sunday feast. She was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables, when she heard a loud crash from the living room. She rushed to investigate and found that one of the Moai statues that they had recently acquired had fallen from its pedestal and was shattered into pieces. Maria was alarmed and puzzled as the statue had been securely placed, and there was no logical explanation for how it could have fallen. She cleaned up the mess and decided to keep the incident to herself, not wanting to worry her family. As the days passed, Maria's unease grew. She began to have vivid nightmares of the Moai statues coming to life and chasing her through the island. She would wake up in a cold sweat, feeling as though someone was watching her. Maria's husband, Juan, noticed her growing anxiety and tried to reassure her that it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. But Maria couldn't shake off the feeling that something was wrong. On the eve of Easter Sunday, the island was buzzing with excitement. The villagers were busy with last-minute preparations for the traditional Easter Mass and feast. Maria tried to put on a brave face and joined in the festivities, but her unease continued to gnaw at her. During the Easter Mass, Maria couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. She kept glancing around, but saw nothing out of the ordinary. However, as the Mass went on, Maria noticed that the Moai statues that adorned the church seemed to be staring at her with their stone eyes. She felt a shiver run down her spine. After the Mass, Maria went home with her family, eager to put the unsettling feeling behind her. But as they entered their home, they were greeted with a horrifying sight. The Moai statues that they had collected were all arranged in a circle in their living room, facing towards the center. Maria's heart raced as she realized that someone or something had moved the heavy statues without making a sound. She tried to stay composed for the sake of her children, but she couldn't ignore the growing sense of dread that enveloped her. That night, Maria decided to investigate the strange occurrences herself. She couldn't shake off the feeling that the Moai statues held some kind of power over her and her family. She searched the internet for information on the history of Easter Island and the legends surrounding the Moai. What she discovered sent chills down her spine. According to local folklore, the Moai were believed to be protectors of the island, but they were also said to possess dark and vengeful spirits. Legend had it that the Moai would come to life during the Easter season and wreak havoc on those who disturbed them. Maria was horrified and realized that she had unknowingly disturbed the Moai statues by bringing them into her home. She knew that she had to do something to appease the spirits and protect her family. Med with this newfound knowledge, Maria decided to seek help from the local shaman, an elderly woman named Anna. She went to Anna's hut, explained the strange occurrences happening in her home, and shared her research on the Moai statues. Anna listened attentively and nodded knowingly. She informed Maria that the Moai were indeed revered as protectors of the island, but they were also feared for their vengeful spirits. According to Anna, the Moai were believed to come to life during the Easter season to punish those who disrespected them or disturbed their sacred grounds. Anna agreed to perform a cleansing ritual to appease the Moai spirits and protect Maria's family. Maria, Juan, and their children Sofia and Carlos gathered at the shaman's hut as Anna performed the ritual. She chanted ancient prayers, burned incense, and scattered offerings of flowers and fruits around the family. As the ritual progressed, Maria felt a heavy presence in the room, as though the statues were watching them. She noticed that the eyes of the Moai figurine that Anna used in the ritual seemed to follow her every move, and she couldn't shake off the feeling of being scrutinized. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Anna concluded the ritual. She reassured Maria and her family that the Moai spirits had been appeased, and they should be safe now. Maria thanked Anna profusely and left the hut with a sense of relief, hoping that the ordeal was finally over. But that night, as Maria lay in bed, she heard faint whispers again. She got up and followed the sound, which led her to the living room. To her horror, she saw the Moai statues arranged in a circle again, facing towards the center, just like before. Maria's heart pounded in her chest as she realized that the spirits were not appeased. She woke up Juan, and together they tried to move the statues back to their original places, but the statues were heavy, and they couldn't budge them. As they struggled, Maria heard a loud bang from the backyard. They rushed outside and saw that the Moai statues in the garden had all toppled over, their stone faces turned towards the house. Maria's fear turned into panic, and she knew that they had to do something urgently to stop the vengeful spirits. She remembered the legend she had read about how the Moai would stop at nothing to punish those who disturbed them during Easter season. Maria decided to return the Moai statues to their original places on the island, hoping that it would appease the spirits. With the help of Juan and some of the villagers, they carefully loaded the statues onto a boat and set sail to return them to their rightful locations. The journey to the island's sacred grounds was treacherous, with rough waves and strong currents. The Moai statues seemed to resist, with some even attempting to shift and topple over on the boat. But Maria and Juan persisted, determined to make things right. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the sacred grounds of the Moai statues. With the help of the villagers, they carefully unloaded the statues and placed them back in their original positions, following the ancient traditions. As soon as the last statue was placed, Maria felt a sense of relief wash over her. The whispers and the eerie presence vanished, and she knew that the Moai spirits had been appeased. The next day, Easter Sunday, Maria and her family attended the Mass with the villagers. The atmosphere was serene, and Maria felt a renewed sense of faith and gratitude. She knew that she had learned a valuable lesson about respecting the ancient traditions and beliefs of the island. From that day on, Maria and her family lived peacefully on the island of Easter Island.